discussing the economic impact of climate change on food security, nutrition, well-being, as well as Uganda's economy at large. And joining me this morning to discuss more of this, I do have Mr. Mawanda Derek, the Director of Projects Climate Change Action East Africa. Many thanks for joining us.
Oh, great. Good morning, viewers.
All right. And then next to me, I do have Mr. Rabbi Ronald, Climate Change Action East Africa Team Leader. Many thanks for joining us as well.
Great morning, viewers.
All right. So as we speak of climate change, let's get into more of this situation. Kindly give us a brief about Climate Change Action East Africa.
Climate Change Action East Africa was born out of need to address issues that are necessary to make a violent situation come down. It was formed 7 years ago as a platform where the academia, government, civil society, entrepreneurs, farmers come together to launch a solution with the goals that food is available on every plate in East Africa by 2050. However, 5 years later, things changed. At the beginning of our existence, we were talking about putting together robust food value chains. Now we are talking about broken systems. The food value chains we are addressing at that time have been derailed by COVID, have been derailed by the lockdowns, have been derailed by the upset of Mother Nature.
Okay. And how far, if you're to look at that, how far have you gone to ensure that this comes to play?
One of the issues we all have to know that human civilization has been compounded with the comfort of existence at 1.5 degrees centigrade. Now we are going to 3.7. So already there is a problem. We have to come up with solutions that are fast, that are efficient, that are within our means in whatever region of the world we are at. Now, for us, one of the solutions is to get everybody on one platform and discuss these issues honestly, sincerely, and act swiftly to contain this problem.
Okay.
And one of them is the bringing the stakeholders from different levels, as I addressed before, to sit under one compound and discuss technology, discuss finance, discuss training, discuss empowerment, so that at the end of the day we have a win-win situation and we have an avenue that we are going to walk towards achieving this goal.
Okay. Now, I do understand you do have objectives as well, and I will bring in Mr. Mawanda Derek here to as well take us through the objectives about climate change action in East Africa. What are your objectives?
Well, objectives are very, very pertinent. And at the end of the day, we are looking at having one, a hunger-free community.
Okay.
By 2050. We want to find a way how households can have food.
Okay.
That's a very critical objective. The second objective is community involvement. How do we make the community participate into the issues of climate change? Climate change is a little detached from the people, but they need to really understand and get into a solution. That's a very fundamental objective. The other objective also we are looking at is localization of climate solutions. Can we have innovations that are tailor-made to fit into the local circumstances back here. Yes.
Okay. And well, you're organizing the first ever climate change conference and expo. What do you intend to attain from this one? And what are your main focus with the expo?
Maybe to put on record,
Okay.
this expo is a regional expo.
All right.
It's going to run for the next 7 years. And the mother plan or the master plan at the end of the 7 years is setting up a drought mitigation center. A drought mitigation center will help to project and guide decision makers
Okay.
on how best to handle issues of climate. I think it will be one of its nature in Africa. There is one in the US, another one in Asia. We don't have precise information on how to plan. We just see issues happening. You see mudslides, you see floods, you know. So a drought mitigation center is one of the objective we are looking at the end of the expo.
Okay.
Yes.
And who are going to be the people taking part in this expo? Are there individuals, or is it only government organization or NGOs?
Maybe I can paint a picture on that day.
Okay.
We are looking, our core focus is the small scale holder farmers.
Okay.
You realize that whereas there are big farmers over there, out there, but the actual solutions on the food basket is coming from the small scale holder farmers. So we're looking at how can we have these small scale holder farmers empowered. So we are bringing in financiers, we are bringing in policymakers, we are pulling in government. It's a 3-in-1 experience, the first of its nature, where you tap into academia, you tap into the financial systems, and provide a practical solution to the small end user. So to answer you precisely, the participant and exhibitors, we are targeting, basically, our focus is the small scale holder farmer. Then from that, the business community, all people that are into the business scope can come and join, but our core niche is the small man.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let me get back to Mr. Rabai Ronald. If you can take us through the climate change hazards Uganda has been facing in the last few years.
Catastrophes.
Okay.
First of all, climate change topic is one of the most boring topics to discuss.
True.
Because they are very sad. But experience is the best teacher. It has been very easy for people to understand that there is a problem about climate change because of what has been happening in the last few years. Bududa has an example. Karamoja, an example. What is happening in Kasese today is extremely sad. These are things that are not supposed to be happening under our lifetime. Now, climate change issues in Uganda started many, many years ago, just like the rest of the world, because as we are talking about the Kalahari going north and the Sahara going south, thinking it is going to converge in Uganda as early as the 1970s. Little was done. Little research was done.
Okay.
Government didn't put in money, and the development partners had other issues to deal with. Now, all this compounded together has brought a big outburst. And this outburst is something that can only be contained by very resilient and robust ideas and innovations and capital to be able to control what can be controllable.
Okay. And if I can as well try to understand here, what do you think should be done to address the negative impacts of climate change across the region? Because you mentioned since 1970 we've been talking about this, but we're not implementing anything. But what are some of those things that we should do to address climate change?
First of all, knowledge sharing. We all have to be at the same platform.
Okay.
Planting of trees is good, but it's not good enough. There is an issue that has to be addressed where government directly has to be involved. One, the appetite of the charcoal in the cities around Uganda is very high. this is something that is very, very, very serious. We have been planting trees. We are on record for having planted over 25,000 fruit trees with school-going children, because we knew that there is the need of or the need to address the issue of malnutrition. So the children are focused on planting trees that they hope they will start eating in 3 years.
Okay.
And also creating awareness in the children.
Okay.
But now the other thing is, even when everybody plants a tree in Uganda, or 10 trees, there is a problem, because the appetite for the charcoal will kill the other people who are bringing in.
Because I've got to realize people don't plant trees to fight, to address climate change. They're planting trees for economic purposes.
Not both ways.
Okay.
Now, people are sensitized enough. In most of the places, people are planting trees for many reasons, for shades. But what is killing all this is the appetite for the charcoal, that they are now cutting down the trees that they met on the planet. It takes 10 years minimum to have a serious tree. Now, the appetite for the charcoal in the cities can faster than how we develop the tree programs. Now, why I've said government can be a very big actor here. If government can remove the taxes on the gas chain, and everybody in the city uses gas, then people don't cut the trees. The people in the villages cut wood for cooking in the houses, but they don't burn the trees. Science says 1 tree, 1 kilo of charcoal, you burn 10 kilos of wood. That's how terrible it is. But if government of Uganda, just like the other regional governments, can remove taxes on both the gas and the gas tanks to a level that the cost of a small gas tank is the same cost, is cheaper than a sack of charcoal, I'm sure nobody will want the charcoal. The appetite will go down and we shall be able to keep. Then on the other hand, government should work with the oil companies so that the nozzle on the gas tanks is the same. Just like we have phones. In the beginning, when the phone revolution came up, every company from Nokia to, they all had different cables and different connectors to the chargers. Now we only are in one. Every new phone comes up, we are only using, if you are using Android, you have the same charger. The other ones who are using the other side, they have the same charger. This uniformity makes it easy. People don't have to go very far to get a charger. So if we have the nozzles of Shell, of gas, of Total, same, it will be very easy for people to buy oil or gas from the next petrol station. Just jumping on a motorbike, going to look for a tank from a different Shell station, petrol station, that's already doing something with pollution. Okay. That's already bring a problem with the mission. But if we are able to get back to the issue where taxes are removed from the gas tanks and manufacturing of gas tanks is put up, we have solved the issue of people cutting down the trees.
All right, Mr. Mawanda Derek, I would want you to add something onto that as well. What should be done? What are we going to do here to address the matters of climate change?
Climate change, we must appreciate that at the moment, it's no longer optional. Actually, it's between life and death. We either respect and appreciate the situation at hand and try to mitigate. Mother Nature will eject us. So the starting point is, apart from the traditional mechanisms that have been done, you see what's happening in Europe after the Ukraine war. They are back to coal. The pollution levels are going up. So practical solutions locally here. First of all, let's support the mothers. Mothers are the anchors of managing our communities and environments. There is need for a deliberate support of a mother and children to appreciate the issue of climate change. How? You find that the mother is the one that does the farming. In African setting we are talking about. So if there is a mechanism, the community can support the mothers and also encourage the children. One, conserve the environment. We have a tree planting program with schools where every child owns a tree. Every child owns a tree. Every child owns a tree. It may take a while, but there is need to continue. Look at government. If the government can know properly that in this particular area, in the next 2 years, this kind of weather is going to happen,
okay,
they can plan along with it. But precision of information is a challenge. We are on a firefighting mechanism. There is no master plan to get the right information on how to do.
Okay.
You can see the change in weather patterns and the rains.
Okay.
So, apart from having the right information and making proper strategic decisions as a mitigation strategy,
okay,
you can't know what's going to happen.
All right.
Yes.
Now, I do understand your organization is doing the public awareness, is going on to do the public awareness. How do you intend to execute this through universities and all this? What are your main topics of discussion, your key areas where you want to address these complaints to?
If I can carry you through a quick run through the program, on the symposium bit of it.
Okay.
We have about 45 people that have confirmed that they're going to do the presentations.
Okay.
We have our development partners that have confirmed that, guys, we are coming to do presentations on finance, the green growth finance. There is an issue on climate finance.
Okay.
So if I can let you know, for instance, ABI is coming on board.
Okay.
World Food Program, FAO, GIZ,
okay,
KCCA, all those are partners, and we have papers allocated to them to share their experiences on this.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Ronald, let me get back to you here. What are some of those challenges that climate change has on the economic space, on the business community in the country?
First of all, we were all blown by the time.
Okay.
All businesses, 70% of the businesses collapsed. 10% of the businesses stagnant. Probably 10 businesses that are 100% backed by technology have thrived.
True.
The other thing, the resilience of the small scale farmers has supported Uganda out of this mess.
Okay.
We have not had a very big negative impact of the climate change on the food because people ate. What happened was because we have the broken food value chains that are not fixed is the reason why we're in this mess. Because for sure there is hunger in Moroto.
Okay.
But there is also food in Western Uganda. If that food was taken from a village in Bushenyi or wherever they grow matoke, and they take it to Moroto in time, we wouldn't have this hunger.
Okay.
It comes back to one other story. It's about poverty. This climate change has come alongside with it, has come with the issue of poverty.
Okay.
People do not work, and when people do not work, they cannot have an income, and if you cannot have an income, you cannot save. So this vicious comes back, the vicious circle comes back in poverty, manifested at the time of climate change.
All right. Let me get to Mr. Amanda Derrick in here. Any suggestions to the policymakers and states in addressing climate change's impact onto our society?
First and foremost is benchmarking.
Okay.
There is urgent need to benchmark. And for instance, when you see the budgets, global budgets on climate change, we have like COP27 coming up in Egypt. Our government does not negotiate enough of the global quota for us. Even the money that's even availed is not consumed. Sometimes they end the budget year and they have to return that money. It means there is a disconnect between the local man on ground to implement and the government. So the awareness and information sharing is very, very key.
Okay.
Then also preparing the people, like in the most affected areas. The city councils, for instance, they must come with a master plan to show that this is the size of the problem in the city. Before you see the channels flooding and sweeping away people, you must have known already on how to advise people on how to coexist with the situation.
All right. Now let's head back to Ronald here on the issue of the topics and the discussions that you've set in place for government to at least to embrace this goal as you are trying to do it.
Topics coming up are climate change adaptation and mitigation as a region, while sharing the practices for food security and nutrition and climate change.
Okay.
Innovative financing for agriculture, while demonstrating the importance of environmentally sustainable farming traditions, while integrating aspects of modern agriculture and nutrient agriculture practices.
Okay.
Technology and innovation in value chains for food and nutrition security. Women and youth in agriculture, outlining skills training for sustainable agriculture, value addition and nutrient-based output.
Okay.
And last but not least, aligning food and agriculture policy in the East African community.
Okay. Well, after the break, we are going to return back here to discuss more regarding climate change, and we'll be summing it up as well with the two gentlemen I do have in studio. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Thank you.